You know, the word death has a lot of word variations that people use in this world. They'll use death as an adjective to describe how certain situations look and how certain situations may feel. I've even heard people carelessly use the word death to describe something that is funny or if they have feelings of extreme exhaustion. The Word of God tells us that death and life is in the power of the tongue, and we will eat the fruit in which we love to speak. See, God uses the word death to describe a lot of different things. The definition in Strong's Concordance tells us in the New Testament, the Greek word for death is Thanatos. It primarily refers to physical death, which is the cessation of life. But as we read the scriptures, we will also see this word, Thanatos, also encompasses spiritual death, which is the separation to God due to sin. It refers to eternal death, which is the final separation from God in judgment. After today, we'll never look at death the same. As believers in Jesus Christ, we can never fear death. Why? Because Jesus overcame death. Yes, the Word of God says he claimed victory over what? Sin and death. We know that the Lord says that he did not give us a spirit of fear, as it says in 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Death is the most important weapon of the devil. Let's go to the garden. In Genesis, the 3rd chapter, verse 3 and 4. But about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, you must not eat it or touch it, or you will die. No, you will certainly not die, the serpent said to the woman. The devil knew that the only way to destroy mankind was death. And how does death enter the world? Through sin. See, the devil deceived Eve by making death seem insignificant so that Adam and Eve would sin. And then it gave birth to the power that fuels death. If the devil can make us afraid of death, then we'll never let the things die that the Lord wants to let die, so that it can be resurrected with eternal power. See, faith destroys death. Remember when the Lord tested Abraham to sacrifice Isaac? Look what the Word of God said in Hebrews 11, 17 and 19. It was by faith that Abraham offered Isaac as a sacrifice when God was testing Abraham, who had received God's promises. Abraham reasoned that if Isaac died, God was able to bring him back to life again. And in a sense, Abraham did receive his son back from the dead. Do we realize the death situation he was looking at was to kill his own son, to sacrifice him to the Lord? But it says by faith is what destroyed the death that was over Isaac's life. It was Abraham's faith that defeated death. That was over his son Isaac. And that was a foreshadow of what was to come. Because when God the Father sent his only son, Jesus Christ, as a sacrifice to defeat death for us all, that's exactly what he did.